That's right. Storm watch continues for our viewers on the BC coast. We're seeing another wave of moisture and strong winds move in tonight. Timing right now looks to be between 4 and 8 p.m. Pacific time when that will start to move on shore. We're seeing some showers through northern Ontario. Those will sink south through the day. But let's look at this. Damaging October storm. We've already seen damage. We've already seen power lines down on Friday. This one looks to be the strongest storm so far that we have seen this week. We could see winds over 100 kilometers an hour reach places like Vancouver, the Georgia Strait. Vancouver saw winds up to 74 kilometers an hour at the airport on Friday, and that caused the power lines down there. So we could see more damaging winds move in tonight into your Sunday morning. Get the flashlights ready, get money out of the bank, go to the gas station. We've got a lull in the weather for you in the afternoon to do that. And as far as rain goes, this is as of 11 p.m. Pacific time. Squamish 138 millimeters of rain. Well, guess what? There's more additional rain on the way too with this system that has already prompted some rainfall warnings here in green. So we could see an additional 50 to 100 millimeters of rain for places like Howe Sound. And this will continue into Sunday as well as those strong winds. So of course, we've got some wind warnings for you as well to consider. Look for the darker greens, the yellows for some higher rainfall totals. This will take you through to Sunday. And then guess what? We've got another storm through Monday. By Wednesday, though, we will see a break in the wet weather. This has been a big parade of systems this week, typical for fall, but I do want to mention that the storm we're seeing tonight is not so typical. It is looking like a strong one, so just be ready for it. There's your Wednesday story for you. Temperatures look to be seasonal by then, so that's the light at the end of the tunnel. These systems just keep tracking east, so they're moving into parts of the prairies. You saw snow in parts of Edmonton on Friday, 11 centimeters to be exact, so we're going to continue to see snow in the northern prairies for your weekend. It's time now for Share Your Weather. All right, some photos sent to us here at the Weather Network's website, also through Twitter, my account at Nicole Karkic. I'm also on Snapchat at Nicole Karkic. Can't say it, can I? Grand Prairie, snow on the ground. This is north of Edmonton. That saw the 11 centimeters. So in this vicinity, maybe about 15 centimeters fell there. North Vancouver, on our website, this viewer said that they were waiting for the next storm. So misty, foggy conditions, and the Buckins Highway this week buckled because of the excessive rain over the long weekend. Our storm watch coverage, however, begins with our top story in British Columbia. Rainfall warnings in place, wind warnings in place as well. An additional, on top of what you've seen, 60 to 90 millimeters of rain for Metro Vancouver, higher as we move up towards places like Squamish and as well as Vancouver Island. Winds, a big part of this story. We saw power outages on Friday, so we can guarantee there'll be more with stronger winds forecast southeast to begin. Then they'll move to a southwesterly flow as this moves onshore Saturday night, around the dinner hour, into your Sunday morning. Look at those reds popping up. That's through the evening hours. Time now for your long range forecast. Time now for your Long Ranger. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. As we look to Saturday here, showers in northern Ontario could be heavy around Sault Ste. Marie. Timmins Cap is casing a general 10 to 15 millimeters of rain. Then that cold front races towards the Greater Toronto region and Cottage Country on Sunday. Now for Sunday morning, we could see it in Toronto for the Toronto Waterfront Marathon. So in the morning, dress for it. As it heads east, we'll see light showers Sunday night in the Maritime provinces. Now this red line, that's a warm front. Usually cold fronts cool down our temperatures behind it. But because this is followed by a warm front, our temperatures are staying mild. I mean, look at this. We've got 22 on Sunday, those light showers tapering off through the afternoon. Monday's 22, 25 on Tuesday. I have to say it again, 25, because our seasonal average is 14 for this time of year. We get closer to that as we head into the end of next week with some showers too. Friday, 13. Seems cold, but that's really where we should be. Halifax, a sunny weekend for you, Saturday and Sunday. Just along the shorelines, be careful of some large swells, not only in Nova Scotia, but Cape Breton and the shorelines of the Avalon Peninsula too. You'll see some showers on Wednesday. St. John's, you've seen cooler temperatures this weekend compared to your Friday. We've got some strong northeasterly winds starting to die down a little bit for Sunday, but still you're below average until we head into your Tuesday forecast when rain moves in again. Out towards the prairie provinces, this is familiar. The blues on our maps, that's cooler air settling into place. We've got a bit of a warm up for Sunday, followed by another cool down as we head into next week. So this is below average temperatures again for the prairies. What does that look like? Well, a few examples here. We've got Winnipeg getting only up to 8 on Tuesday, 7 on Wednesday, single digits. So your overnight lows, yeah, hovering around the freezing mark, if not below. You'll see that dip again too in Regina, only getting up to 6 degrees. And a quick look here at Calgary, 9 on your Tuesday. That was a look at your long range forecast. Thanks for joining us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic, and while we've got a lull in the active weather for you this afternoon for Vancouver, light rain continues, 12 degrees, but an approaching storm. We'll talk about that in a moment. Calgary 12 this afternoon, Winnipeg 15, above average, Toronto to Montreal, and Halifax a sunny weekend for you. Meanwhile, St. John's just 6 degrees with some strong northeasterly winds. Shorelines of Atlantic Canada, by the way, some big swells. Even Metro Vancouver could see gusts close to 100 kilometers an hour, starting off as southeast winds ahead of the system. Then they'll switch to a southwesterly flow, and it's from what was Typhoon Songda being enhanced by this jet, and it's moving onshore through this evening. Timing-wise, looks to be through the dinner hour as it just clips past Washington State and moves over Vancouver Island into the lower mainland. So that's the problem. It's the exact track of it right now is not favorable for us here on the Canadian side of the border. Currently, we are seeing just those spotty showers. This is the lull. This is the time to get out, get some gas in the car, get the money out of the bank, get some flashlights too, because you could lose some power again. And just a couple of the key things you could be seeing: 200 to 300 millimeters of rain through to Monday State, and then eventually over Vancouver Island. It would be much better if we could see this red line move more over Washington State, because we've got higher terrain there, so that could block off some of the very strong winds and rain with this. Speaking of rain, we've got some for you this weekend in Ontario. It started in northern Ontario this morning along Highway 17 and Highway 11. It's starting to sink south through the day, so along that blue line, that's the cold front. We're seeing showers in the Greater Toronto region for the Toronto Waterfront Marathon Sunday morning. No, a couple of people running in that, so just be ready for about 5 millimeters of rain through the morning. And then on Monday, we've got this warm front too, so even though we have a cold front coming through bringing rain, it's not going to cool down our temperatures in the wake of it. In fact, we'll be really mild heading into next week. There's also a risk of some embedded thunderstorms for Sunday with the chance of the rain. Check out your Long Ranger right now. That's right. Welcome to our Stormwatch coverage. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic in for Chris St. Clair this weekend, and we've got some rain moving into BC that's going to pick up in intensity later today. Bit of a lull right now. Get the flashlights ready. Get anything ready for possible power outages. Maybe some gas in the car too. As we move towards parts of Ontario here, we've seen some showers in the north that will spread south through your Sunday in places like Toronto. But this, the big powerful storm bringing rain, wind. We've got wind warnings in place here for parts of Metro Vancouver as well as Vancouver Island to see gusts in excess of 100 kilometers an hour, especially through the Georgia Strait. Anything in red here are strongest winds. Timing wise, this looks to be Saturday night. So tonight between 4 and 8 p.m. local time, that's the time it could start to move onshore, and then it will continue into your Sunday morning. So a lot of people are sleeping. That's when the lights could go out in a lot of cases. And the lights did go out on Friday as we saw wind gusts in Vancouver get up to 74 kilometers an hour. So these will be even stronger. This is a look at the rainfall totals as of last night. So these will certainly go up as we tally the storms that we've seen this week. Let's get an update from Chris St. Clair out west. That's a good point, because, you know, we're used to seeing storm after storm along the west coast, specifically in the fall. But this one that's coming looks exceptionally strong. The remnants of Typhoon Songda. Here's the rainfall warnings marked in green. We've got special weather statements generally for the area indicating the same thing. The strong winds and the heavy rain, gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour or stronger through this evening. And a look at the rainfall totals. This is on top of what you've already seen. So we can't rule out localized flooding and things like that in the area because it's just been so much already. When does it end? Well, we've got another wave of moisture for your Monday. This looks to be lighter than what we're getting on your Saturday night. And then by Wednesday, there's the light at the end of the tunnel, a clearing trend for you. These systems just continue to track and move east towards the prairies. So we've been seeing active weather there too this week. Edmonton on Friday picked up 11 centimeters of snow. There was freezing rain in Calgary, and this will continue to bring snow as systems keep moving east into your weekend for the prairie provinces. We're talking a general 5 to 15 centimeters of snowfall there. You can find out more on your weekend weather in your local forecast. It starts now. All right, our storm watch coverage begins right now. We will give you updates on the BC storm, but a quick update on Tropical Storm Nicole. Over the last 6 hours, we've seen current wind speeds just over 110 kilometers an hour. This will pose a threat along the shorelines of Newfoundland, Cape Breton, as well as Nova Scotia, with just some high swells. It's not going to hit Newfoundland, but it will just cause these winds that will be a bit stronger, particularly around Grand Banks with some gale force winds. Now our update on BC. We've got rainfall warnings here across parts of Vancouver Island, Metro Vancouver as well. We'll see an additional 50 to 100 millimeters of rain through parts of the lower mainland, plus the winds will be strong. They'll be fierce. We're going to see more power outages as winds could get over 110 kilometers an hour, and also rain moving through southern Ontario. But let's find out now how you can get ready for the winter season.
Now is the time to prep for winter. Fall is almost here.
Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Your home, your car, and you need to get ready before the snow flies.
Here's a list of things you can do in the fall to help you prepare for winter.
Seeing clearly through your vehicle's windshield? Well, that's critical for safety. And these old wiper blades, they won't cut it during our winter. It's best to change them up. While you're at it, change to winter tires. As temperatures drop, so does the tire pressure. So you'll want to test them once a month to make sure they're properly inflated. And while you're doing all this, give your car a good cleaning and perhaps a rust proofing too.
Did you know seeding your lawn right now is actually more effective than waiting till spring? Cleaning and prepping your flower beds now will make spring gardening a lot easier, and before the first frost appears, get some burlap to bundle up those shrubs. Hot, humid summers can build up nasty mold or mildew on your furnace filter. Fall is a good time to clean or change it. Weather stripping helps keep your home cozier.
Don't wait for the holiday rush. Shop for your winter boots in the fall. Same goes for all winter clothes. Selection and sizes will be available, and you'll be ready if the snow comes early.
Don't neglect restocking your home and your vehicle's emergency kits. Stay cozy, warm, and safe this winter by checking off all of these items on your fall to-do list.
Thanks for joining us on your Saturday. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. This afternoon, Vancouver 12 degrees. We'll talk more about your story in a moment, but just a quick look across the country here. Yellowknife -3, above average. Toronto, Montreal, seasonal, and Halifax. You'll see sunny skies today and into tomorrow as well. But our big story we're following is in BC. Rainfall warnings have been issued for the next round of wet weather moving in for Howe Sound, Vancouver. We could be looking at an additional 50 to 100 millimeters of rain in parts of the lower mainland. Gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour is possible through the Georgia Strait, and maybe 110. And it could go stronger than that too, depending on the track. And so far what we know about the track is that it will move in Saturday evening, close to the dinner hour. We've got a very strong enhanced jet. It will just brush past the northern tip of Washington State and move over Vancouver Island. So that's not a good case scenario for us. We're likely going to see more power outages with this, as well as that heavy rain into your Sunday. Get a bit of a lull before another storm on Monday, but by Wednesday we do have a clearing trend. So things will start to taper off by then, but this is what we've got to deal with till then. 200 to 300 millimeters of rainfall through to Monday. Wet snow for highway mountain passes. We could be seeing some flooded roads with this certainly, and also certainly some damage to your homes with the strong winds too. The water vapor imagery currently is showing us that the low is starting to form right there. This is the current track right now. Follow that red line and you can see it's just going to move up. There it is, brushing past the northern tip of Washington State. If it moves a little bit further towards Washington, the terrain there will help dampen it a little bit. That's a better scenario for us. And then there it is, tracking into BC for tonight. We've got rain in Ontario as well to talk about, but first up, an update from Chris St. Clair in BC. Thanks for that, Chris. Quick update on your story in the east. Rain in Ontario in the north starts to move south into the afternoon hours. Sunday will be wet in the Greater Toronto region. Coming up, we'll tell you how you can winterize your home. Stay with us. For all you TD snowbirds heading south on Sunday, well, it looks like we'll have some warm temperatures for you in Orlando, getting up to 27 degrees. There is a risk of thunderstorms. The good news is in the Atlantic Basin, we're not tracking a hurricane or developing hurricane close to Florida in the next 48 hours. Miami, 28 degrees there. Chance of thunderstorms as well. Tampa getting up to 28. As we look to your Sunday forecast in Daytona Beach, it gets up to 27. Safe travels. Looking at BC, we want to update you on the watches and warnings. Wind warnings here through parts of Metro Vancouver, Vancouver Island as well. And you can read it here. Gusts over 100 kilometers an hour are possible. Plus, we've got rainfall warnings too. Vancouver's included in that as well. Anything in green. The cream is a special weather statement, generally saying the same thing. This storm is moving in tonight, and it looks to be the most powerful storm we've seen this week and the strongest in terms of how strong that pressure is since 2006. And that was the Stanley Park windstorm. The track is not looking like that one. It's looking more like 1962, and that was what was Typhoon Frida. So it's taking that track, moving it towards Washington State, just clipping it, and then moving on shore over Vancouver Island, bringing the strong winds. We've got the heavy amount of rain. Look what happens as we head into Wednesday. Starts to clear out, because guess what? After the Saturday night into Sunday morning storm, we have another round of rain on Monday. Not as strong as what we're seeing tonight, but still, it doesn't seem to let up until we head into Wednesday. This is the additional rain we will see through to your Sunday forecast on top of what we've already picked up. So Vancouver, you've seen about 50 millimeters of rain. Let's add on another 60 to 100. Gusts will be out of the southeast, those winds out of the southeast through the afternoon. Then through the overnight, we're going to see them switch to a southwesterly flow. And 110 is strong. That is close to hurricane force winds, but just giving you the all-time greatest winds we've seen in the east. Vancouver has been close to 130 kilometers an hour in the past. So this next storm that we're following for British Columbia looks to be the strongest we've seen this week, and in fact, the strongest as we look at the barometric pressure since 2006. It's going to move onshore, and that was what was Typhoon Songda, getting caught up in this really strong upper-level jet, moving towards Washington State through the afternoon, and then brushing over Vancouver Island. Looks to be around the dinner hour, and then it continues through the overnight into your Sunday morning. Strong winds, heavy rain as well with this on top of what you've already seen this week. And this looks to be stronger and have more rain in it than what we've already seen. So that just gives you perspective on what we're getting ready for. An additional 60 to 90 millimeters of rain in parts of Vancouver. Squamish seeing higher amounts than that. And how about the winds? Starting out over the southeast, then we're going to see the winds change direction to a southwesterly flow. Gusts here, right here in that red, could exceed 110 kilometers an hour. So that's close to hurricane force winds. When does it ease? We get some lighter rain as we look at Wednesday. As we talk about what's happening, we look at Saturday afternoon, and that's when the timing looks to be right for what was Typhoon Songda in the Central Pacific to move towards Washington State, just clip it, and then move towards Vancouver Island. It's getting caught in this really strong jet, and that's why it's looking so powerful. It looks like we're going to see those very strong winds and heavy amounts of rain along the BC coast. And this is on the heels of this week that has seen a parade of systems move onshore. Not to mention that on Friday for Oregon, they had an EF2 tornado move into the state. Oregon usually sees only 3 tornadoes on average a year. This is a look at how much rain we're going to see through to Monday. So again, on top of what you've already picked up, localized flooding, not out of the question. Also more power outages with these winds that are in the forecast. Southeasterly winds to start. Dark purple's bad. When we get into the reds, that gets really bad. And that's through the overnight hours. Gusts could exceed 100 kilometers an hour. That's close to hurricane winds. And then by Wednesday, things do start to really ease off.